Back in the trenches here on 88.7 FM WRHU and streaming in high definition on WRHU.org. James Coluccio alongside Kyle Giesemann, and we're about halfway through this show, 1 hour to go, but plenty more to come. Of course, we'll be speaking with Jim Janot, the play-by-play voice of the UNH Wildcats, and we'll also be joined by Adrian Tracy, one of the top defensive players in the CAA. He'll have a chance to sit down and speak with us as well. But first, let's take a look at what's coming up this week. Number 4, Richmond versus number 5, William and Mary. And Kyle, a nice way to bring up the end of the season. The biggest game, obviously, on the schedule in this final week of the regular season, and lots of implications are at stake.
Not just the biggest game this week, but, I mean, besides maybe Villanova-Richmond, this might be the biggest game of the year. And what a way for it to come at the end of the season, the Capital Cup. Of course, they just renamed it the Capital Cup, obviously due to the fact that it's the two previous capitals of Virginia, Richmond and Williamsburg. It's also, James, the fourth oldest rivalry in all of college football, the oldest in the South, 118 years these two teams have been playing, and really this week it couldn't be a whole lot bigger. Richmond ranked 4th, William and Mary ranked 5th. I think this is going to be a huge battle between the intelligence of the Richmond offense and especially the quarterback position of Eric Ward and the very, very dominant and talented defense of William and Mary.
And Kyle, these are two teams heading in different directions at this point. Richmond was coming off to a loss against Villanova. They get the win against Georgetown, but William and Mary has been on a bit of a tear, winning their last 5 straight. And William and Mary certainly having the momentum going into this game, but the Richmond Spiders, they've got that championship ring they're wearing from 2008. They know what it takes to go all the way.
Yeah, and really, you know, they finished 3rd in the CAA South, and I think the loser in this game will finish 3rd in the CAA South. So really, James, the loser could be the frontrunner to be the national champions this year. But, you know, I think the fact of the matter is it's going to come down to really how the Richmond offensive line that we've talked about all season has been very, very big, very talented. How are they going to defend that William and Mary front 4 and really the front 7 that they have? You know, how can they stop Jake Trenton? How can they stop Adrian Tracy from getting to Eric Ward? And also, you know, how can Eric Ward avoid that pass rush? I think that's going to be the key in the game.
Yeah, you know, Kyle, I would certainly agree with you simply because William and Mary has one of the top rushing defenses, not only in the CAA, but in the entire FCS. And if Richmond's not going to be able to pass the ball, you're going to put this game solely on the shoulders of Eric Ward. Now, we've seen in the past, Ward certainly knows how to manage a game. He certainly knows how not to make any mental mistakes and turn the football over carelessly. But can you depend on Eric Ward to put the game on his shoulders with the game on the line to come away with a victory for the Richmond Spiders?
And let's take a look at the other sides of the ball there. Richmond's defense, not too shabby either. William and Mary's offense, not necessarily as prevalent and big as the Richmond offense, but still very talented. Of course, R.J. Archer has been playing very solid and consistent all year. We talked about him earlier in the show as far as not turning the ball over. Jonathan Grimes, in my opinion, the best running back this season in the entire CAA. I think that's going to be key in this game. William and Mary is averaging 178 yards on the ground. Richmond only allowing 71, so something's got to give there. And I think, you know, really if William and Mary can get around that 120, 150 rushing yard mark on the day, I think they're going to have a lot of success. But really, like it always does in these big-time games, James, it might come down to the kicker.
And Kyle, you take a look at the beginning of this season. When you thought about best CAA rusher, automatically everyone said Tony Nelson, and deservedly so. Tony Nelson, a solid running back. But you take a look at Jonathan Grimes. He's having one of the best rushing seasons in the CAA. He's about to approach 1,000 yards. And you know what? After Tony Nelson graduates, I think when you're going to think best running back in the CAA, it's going to be Jonathan Grimes for the next 2 years.